Hi guys, got a request from Shaima Saki, apologies if I haven't pronounced that right, to make a rubber band powered car that uses only 2 rubber bands for the motor, and it doesn't use CDs or DVDs for the wheels. A couple of points there. Rubber bands come in all sorts of sizes, so 2 of my rubber bands might be much smaller than 2 of yours, or they might be much larger. I've got at least a dozen different sizes of rubber bands in my box, so I'll just choose 2 and you'll have to live with it, I'm afraid. For the body, I'm going to use this shampoo bottle. For the wheels, I've got a 6-pack here of sticky tape, so I'm thinking of using these rolls of sticky tape as the wheels, but I'm going to pack them out with some polystyrene packaging. These are my favourite pizza trays, and I'll use them. I'll cut discs out of them to make centres for these tape wheels, and I'll use barbecue skewers for the axles. Right, let's get one of these out. So that's going to be our wheel. And I've cut out some polystyrene discs to go inside. This is actually easier than I expected, so what I'm going to do is cut 4 discs for each wheel, because that will make it easy to fit it, because that fills up the centre of the wheel nicely. There we go, 16 polystyrene discs, 4 for each wheel. Next thing we want to do is make sure that we drill a hole right in the middle so that the axle's straight. And what I'm going to do is drill the hole in each individual one rather than trying to push it through from the outside, because quite often you go off at an angle. And to do that, I've got a piece of paper and a pencil somewhere. I'm going to draw around the inside exactly the same as I've done for the polystyrene wheels. I'm going to cut that out and then fold it into quarters, and that'll give us the centre. So that's the size of the inside of the sticky tape. And if I fold it in half and then fold that into a quarter, that's the centre. So that's what I'll use to mark the centre for each of my discs. And I'll push a hole through, so make sure it's in position carefully. I'll do that for each one. There's one assembled. I haven't glued it yet, I suspect it might actually work without glue, but I'll put a bit of hot glue on there anyway. I expect other glues would work too. I'll just pop it back out again so you can see. So that's our 4 discs inside the wheel, or inside the sticky tape cardboard tube. Four wheels ready. I've just put a very tiny bit of hot glue around the outside edge just to hold the outer sections in place. Now we need to do something to the body. So we're going to put the drinking, no, I'm not going to use drinking straws. I'll just try drilling holes straight through. There's a nice seam round the edge so that I can keep them parallel. I've carefully measured along the seam and pushed some holes through using my sharp bradawl. But I'm actually going to open those holes up using my hot soldering iron. If you're not allowed to use a soldering iron, then you could use a drill, or if you're allowed to heat up a piece of metal, then you could probably heat up a nail or something like that. It just makes the hole bigger because it needs to be a very loose fit for your barbecue skewer. Right, soldering iron's heated up. This could cause some unpleasant fumes, so I've got the window open to let the fumes go out. Nearly ready. I've cut a nice big hole so that I can get to the rubber band. I've got some plastic beads that I've actually drilled the hole out bigger so it's a nice fit on these barbecue skewers. And I'm going to use that as spacers to keep the wheels away from the body. In fact, if we put one on, so we've got a good bit of clearance. That's our back wheels. What I will do is I'll put a little peg on there, just cut a short piece of the barbecue skewer and hot glue it on there so we've got something to hook the rubber band onto to make it easier to load it. And I'll also put some hot glue in the middle here to stop the wheels spinning on the axle. And the final thing I'll do is melt another hole here so that I can just hook the rubber band or loop the rubber band through there to tie it on. In fact, I think my soldering iron's hot enough to do that now. There we go. So I can loop the rubber band through there to hold it in place. There we are, that's the Bit of barbecue skewer peg that I've just hot glued onto the back axle there, so that we can hook the rubber band on easily. There's 2 rubber bands. So I'll hook that on the back axle and we'll see how it goes. Test run time. Just wind the rubber band up. And see how we go. Well, that looks like a success. We'll do that again and I'll chase it this time, so I'll pick up the camera. And away we go. Success. Summary time. We'll do it in here because it's a bit quieter. So what have we got? We've got a rubber band powered car with wheels made from sticky tape rolls. It's still got the sticky tape on them. Could have waited until we'd used them up, but that would take months. So we could have just had the cardboard tubes from inside. The centres are discs cut from polystyrene pizza trays. I made 4 discs for each side. That's just filled it up inside to give us something to put the axles through. The axles are barbecue skewers, front and back. The body is a shampoo bottle. And we've got little plastic beads to space the wheels apart, keep them away from the bodywork. And a little peg, piece of barbecue skewer stuck to the back axle to hook the rubber band over. And that's it. I used a hot soldering iron to make the holes, but you could just drill them or push something through, sharp through to make the holes. It's just convenient for me to use a hot soldering iron. But there we go. That did 5 metres in the kitchen. Could probably have made it without using hot glue at all. I did hot glue the discs in place, but they're a reasonably stiff fit anyway. Or you could have used some other sort of glue. But that works, so job done.